All right, baby. We are on. What day are we on, baby?
Day 4.
We're on day 4. If we don't count day 0, we're technically on day 4. So we're on day 4. When we stopped, we were working on JavaScript. That's where we're going to resume today. What have you worked on today to catch everybody up?
I've just been working on my portfolio page. I didn't really get a chance to go through what we went through yesterday because you came home early and then we went shopping afterwards.
So how much time would you say you studied today?
Probably like an hour and 20 minutes or something.
Why do I feel like it's closer to 30 minutes?
I don't know. You tell me.
All right, so you spent about an hour and 20 minutes. I'm just trying to catch you in a lie here. No, but all right, so you're gonna.
So you're saying I actually studied an hour and 30 minutes?
No, I think yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think you studied more than you said. All right, so we're gonna resume our JavaScript stuff, and you're going to continue working on your portfolio and study JavaScript. And are you gonna try and get your 2.5 hours solo in today? Do another hour?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not done.
Okay, cool. That's good to hear.
I want to catch up on my notes from yesterday, and I guess I'll do today's notes too, although I don't really want to do today's notes.
I know. It's alright. Sometimes you gotta power through it. The hardest part is sticking to it. That's the hardest part of software, is just forcing yourself, even when you're tired. I am extremely tired, but yeah, here we are. You know what I mean? Alright, so let's get started. We're back in basic JavaScript using bracket notation. So remember how I was saying you could use the brackets of an array to find what that item is, and it starts at the 0 index. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So you can do something similar for a string, where here what you're doing is you can find out what the character is of that string. So you see how we have our first name variable, and it has ADA on here. Ada. And so if we did first name 0, what's going to come back?
Ada?
No. Remember, we're treating these as characters. So this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2.
Oh, so you don't need plus signs in between those.
No.
Or spaces.
No, this is just a string, yeah. So your string variables are set up so that if I wanted to know just a single character, I could do that. Let's say you only wanted to know the first character of a string. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't see what... I don't know. Okay, yes, makes sense.
Like, say you wanted to capitalize the first letter of every word. This would be one way that you could target it.
Oh, okay.
And check it, right?
Yeah, okay.
So, if we wanted to, in this case, we want to get the first... we want to get a capital L from last name Lovelace. What would we attach to the last name to here to store it into this variable? First letter of last name. What would be on here? Using the bracket notation.
It would be an L, so it would be 0.
Okay, and the brackets, right?
Yeah.
Good. Welcome, James. Welcome, Neil. All right, let's see here. Understand string immutability. All right. So, one thing to note is you can't go and change. So remember we were talking about string literals? Remember you're saying what's the difference between a string and string literal? And I was saying the same thing. So what that means is that even though we can target to get the value of a string, like the first letter, we can't actually go and change it that way. If we wanted to change a string, we have to change the whole string. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
So the example here, say you see Jello World, right? So we're trying to change that to Hello World. And we can't actually do that by just trying to target this. That's not how it works. We can get the value, but we can't set the value that way in the strings.
Okay, but why? Okay, so you can only get things, you can't change things.
With the string like this.
So only variables can give values.
Yes.
Okay.
So if we wanted to change this to hello world, what would we do to this?
You create a new variable.
Well, we can change this variable, right, to be correct. And then we just reset the string like this. You have to reset the whole string if you want to change it.
Okay, so you're not getting anything, you're actually making a variable.
Yes.
Okay.
We're not making a variable, we're assigning a new value.
Right, okay, that's what I meant.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, so far we've only shown that hey, we can get the first character, but you may want to get a different character. In this case, why are you turning my chair?
Because I'm using the armrest.
All right. So in this case, we want to get the V. So what index would we get using bracket notation? Which one would that be? If we want to get this V out of Lovelace.
2.
Good, because it starts at 0, right?
Yeah.
Bodacious. You like that? They have fun little things in there. Alright, so this is going to be an interesting one.
It's Achilles.
Yeah.
He's crying. He misses his mama.
You can let him in here. I don't care if the door's open. And he misses me, by the way. Achilles!
Yeah, you caught the chain? Oh, yeah. You caught it. Look at you. You're such a good boy. So proud of himself.
Yeah. Alright, so remember how we just got the first letter, right, using 0. Now, how might we dynamically get the last letter? And remember, we know how to find the length of a string, right?
Well, why wouldn't you just... Oh, okay, so there's like a shortcut to this.
Not a shortcut, but like, let's say we don't know what a user's...
How many letters are in there?
Exactly. So the way that we would find the last letter would, in our bracket, we can actually do equations as well, as long as it returns a number.
Okay.
So remember the length function?
Yeah, dot length gives you how many characters are in there.
Now, why do you think we need to have this -1 to get the last
Because
character?
it starts at 0?
That's right. So even though there's 3 letters in this last, and the length is always going to start at 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah.
So we have to -1 to get the last character. Good job, baby. You would not believe how hard this concept is for people sometimes. So Joshua Jarek asks, in teaching someone else how to code from the bottom up, Dylan, how does this make you look back on ways you could have improved the ways you taught yourself how to code?
That's a really good question.
One thing I would have done differently, Joshua, that I've done recently is I've hired tutors. In my experience, in 1 hour, you can learn the ins and outs of things that may take you 5 to 10 hours. That'd probably be the biggest thing. Which is why... Godwin, I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, thanks. Catch up.
But, yeah. Which is why I would probably change that. I would hire more tutors. Now at the time, I didn't have the money, right? So that was the biggest difference. But in a perfect world, if I did have the cash, I would hire tutors. I probably would have printed out more cheat sheets as well, to keep track early on.
He's talking about this.
Well, not notes, like actual cheat sheets that people have made. So hey, just reminder sheets and things like that, and I'm gonna do stuff like that. But all right, anyhow, let's continue on.
Continue on.
So in this last name, we want to get the E of Lovelace. How would we get it? We want to get last name's last character. What are we putting inside here? Do you do that?
The same formula, isn't it?
Yeah. So just tell me.
Last name dot length minus 1.
Good job.
You know, I had a really weird thought last night. I thought to myself, oh my god, what if I went blind? I would have to know all this stuff by speech. It's a really weird thought, but that's where my head goes.
What I think about boot camps, I think they're great, man. I think we live in a skill-based job society, and I mean, to give you an example.
When have we not lived in a skill-based job society? I think.
Well, technical skill. Well, there's very few jobs left, guys. Good-paying jobs, and you have to have a technical hard skill for most of them. And that's why, even though April's an English major, and she's not going to go to a boot camp, and she's going to be self-taught, she'll do just fine once she gets going. Why not send April to a boot camp?
We have thought about it.
We have zero debt, and it would cost
like 10 grand.
It would cost about 10 grand, and honestly, I think I can teach her in 100 days to get her going. Not like teach her to be a full stack developer in 100 days, but I think in 100 days, if she sticks with it, she could get an internship and go from there. I've never bought a course. There's so many free resources, I never bought one. So
yeah, even I heard Google came out with a course too.
Yeah. All right.
Free course.
All right. So if we want to get this C, how would we get it? We want to get that last character.
Do we know how many letters are in it?
In this case, we do, but
okay.
That shouldn't matter. We're using the same sort of.
So it'd be -2.
Good.
Zup peeps.
Oh god, so hard typing with one hand after a full day's work of typing with one hand.
What?
How old do you need to be to get an internship? I've known interns as young as 14. Hey, Bitcode, what's going on, man?
Really? 14? That's pretty cool.
Yep.
14. Can you imagine? Oh my god.
Yeah, the guy was way better than me. It was embarrassing. All right.
That's why I asked if that guy with the most things was like 12.
No. All right, so word blanks. So now we're on kind of a. This is like a mini. So you remember Mad Libs?
Yeah.
So we're gonna play a little Mad Libs game.
I hated those.
Okay. So we're gonna do string concatenation. Now in this case, what we're doing is, remember I was telling you what a function is? So this is an example of a function where you can call it like this, and you pass in parameters. These are variables, basically, just data that we're passing directly in. They're not stored anywhere, but we're passing it in so that we can use it in our function.
Okay,
and then we
let's go over function.
Okay.
Again.
Okay, so a function is a set of code that's reusable, and the way that we call it is with the name of the function, these parentheses, and then sometimes we have what are called parameters, which this dog lines up with my noun, and it goes in order. So that's how you know what each one of these represents.
Okay.
Let me give you a better example. Something easier. say we wanted, no, the super chat should be up. Did it not go off? Yeah, it's there. At least on my page. See? So parameters. Let's. So say we had this function called add. I would try refreshing your page, Bitcode. It maybe didn't load in. But let's say we have this function called add. Now, no matter what code we put in here, unless we call add to run, it will never do anything. So right here, we're just it's like a definition. But we never actually say the word. It just is defined. Okay? So in this case, when we have add...
I don't like that. As an English major, that sounds totally awful. Okay.
Alright, so in this case, we have num1 and num2. There's a link to donate in the description as well, I believe, for the Streamlabs, I think. Anyhow, but thank you either way, man. Don't sweat it. So we have these numbers, num1 and num2, and all we want to do is add them together. So we have this return. What this does is it gives us the value back. And the reason you may want to do that is because you're going to use it for something else.
But it's not holding it anywhere.
No, but kind of think of it as it's just, you're sending it. You're sending it back and forth to be used.
So like monkey in the middle?
Kind of. Like you may store this in a variable.
Okay.
So we're going to return number 1 plus number 2. Now the way that we actually use this function or call the function is we do it by simply remember our function name, these parentheses, and a semicolon after to let it know that we're done with this piece of code. And say we wanted to add the number 2 and the number 3, this would then return us the number 1 plus number 2. In this case, it would be 5. And we could, if we wanted to, store it and, we'll call this var total into a variable, like so. Now, it depends on what your function is doing, but this is one way that we could do it. Yeah. Are you getting it? No?
What? Well, okay. I need something that... what would you use that in?
The calculator, for instance. So, in this case, we want to add 2 numbers in the calculator.
Okay.
And now we want to... We never know how many times we're going to add. Maybe we're going to add again, again, and again. And that's why this adding 2, 3, we could do total is plus equal to 2, 3, and then we could call it again and again and again and again. And so, what we're doing... This is the bulk of programming. You're creating code that you can reuse as many times as you want.
Okay, but what is the difference from what we've used prior to this? Like, why do you need this? Why can't you just have variables and call them
Well, you're going to be doing all of that, but you're going to be doing it in here. And so it's so that you can reuse it. Because there's no way to actually... You know how like we've been doing little pieces of code?
So all those other pieces that we've seen, you can only use them once?
Yes, because we didn't put them in a function.
Oh my god, that's such a waste of code.
Well, that's why you have functions.
This is like e-recycle on a literal base.
Yeah, so you use functions so that you can reuse it.
So it just recycles it.
Yeah, and it allows it to call it. So like, let's say...
Multiple times.
Mm-hmm. So let's say we wanted to... When we click add, it called the add function.
Right.
There's no other way for us to call it on that click. You have to define it as a function.
That's interesting that they had to come up with a function so that it could be continuously reused because you can't do it otherwise. That's so weird. Like.
So, all right. So let's now that we've you kind of get the point of functions now.
Yeah.
All right. And
the function just is recycle.
Yeah, it's a way for you to recycle your code and use it again and again and again. So, like in this case, word blanks or add, we can use as many times as we call it.
Recycle.
Yeah, and we call it just like by its name right here,
Okay.
and pass in whatever parameters. Now they don't have to have parameters.
Okay.
So like maybe we had a function called meow, and all it did was when we called it, it played a meow sound, right? Like, and
This just made my day.
Yeah. And so it wouldn't have any, like we already knew what the meow sound was going to be, and so we put it in here, and then it meowed every time you clicked on something.
That's so cute.
And so
I'm gonna do that for my portfolio. Just click. Yeah. What the fuck?
all right. What's Super Chat? Super Chat is a way for you to donate through YouTube. It's a it's like a donation thing. It's like yeah, that's basically the equivalent of it. It's a donation thing. It's you donate, and then your message will actually come up on the screen, as well as it's kind of like you saw how people subscribe. It'll play a little song, and then your message will stay at the top depending on how long. Hey, 4K is the way. Thank you, Bitcode.
Yeah.
So there's your super chat. It also will.
Is the way film projector PC.
It's also we'll play your message in here.
Ooh, I remember when you did that. I thought that was so cool, but I don't get to hear them because you have this on mute. Okay, what worked for me is like math. Look at code as a new language. Oh yeah, no, I am most definitely trying to. I'm actually trying to learn a few languages on top of this, like actual like German and stuff. So I'm totally relating it to understanding a new language.
All right.
It's just instead of learning to speak it, I'm learning to write it, which is harder for me.
So in this case, what we want to do is remember how we had
Okay, so
right now
for the word blanks, you can insert new parameters as you recycle.
Yeah. So word blanks, we are going to. So let's say like Mad Libs. You can make as many Mad Libs as you want in the one if you could fill out the form multiple times, right? What's the max age range for an internship? There's no max, man. It'll be harder if
There's
you're
like
older, and it'll be harder if you're younger. You just gotta go for it, man.
Yeah, you're gonna get. Well, there's a saying in English classes that all of my English professors would tell me. You'll get like 1,000 no's before you get one yes. But statistically, there's actually a statistic saying out there that after so many no's, you're guaranteed a yes. It's like what is it called? The averages or something like that?
A lot of averages.
Yeah.
All right, so we want to concat these four words together.
I dreamt about concating last night.
Okay.
It was so weird.
So how would we do that using result? We have result, and we want to set this equal to, and we have to have a space in between each one of them.
Okay.
So how are we going to do it?
Okay, so we want to concat. So we want to put them into a sentence.
Yes.
Okay. We've never used result before.
It's just a variable they created. It's nothing special. It's just the name of a variable.
I forget the first part, but it's like.
Well, these are called parameters. This is wit. Remember, this one's dog. This one's big. This one's ran. And this one's quickly.
No, I get that, but like you need to do the plus signs. I know that.
So we have to. I'll give you the first one. All right.
I forget.
I'll get you going.
Because I didn't go in my notes.
So, what is my noun? In this case.
A parameter.
And what is that parameter? What is the string value of that parameter? Say it loud.
Loud and proud. Dog.
Dog. Good. And so.
But it doesn't.
It doesn't have a space, right?
It doesn't have like dog is its value.
Yes, dog's its value. Think of this as a variable.
But it's not okay. That's where okay. So it's not a variable, but it has a new parameter to be used multiple times.
Yes. So it's a variable for the.
Why wouldn't you just want it to be a variable? Why does it have to be a new parameter that's not a variable?
It's not a new parameter. It's just a parameter. And what?
It's another parameter.
So this parameter only exists while this code runs. It's like we're resetting. Imagine this is a variable,
So it's like
and
a
here we're
ghost.
setting it, and then it runs in here, and then it's gone.
It's like a ghost. It's a ghost function.
You're killing me. All right. So
First you told me it was recycled. Now you tell me it doesn't even exist. What am I supposed to think?
all right. So far, we have dog and a space. What would we do next?
Why do we have a space?
Because that's what it asked for. So it just wants to have it all go out.
So does it not come with spaces?
No, it doesn't. Remember?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. So my adjective.
And what is my adjective?
Big.
Good. Now what do we do next?
That plus sign, quotations with a space, go another plus sign, and you just continue it like that.
Good. And what is this called again that we're doing right now?
A result.
No, remember, baby, that's just a function. But what is the string action that we're doing, that we did yesterday, that we're doing right now? We are concatenating the string. Good.
Concat.
And our function is a bit of reusable code. And when we return result, what's going to happen here is this return line, this return word, this is a special word. So there's certain words in programming. This is a special word, I'm not bullshitting you. There's certain words in programming
Of course it is.
that you can't use because they're predefined as part of the language, right? So you wouldn't create a variable called function.
Like that word yesterday that actually meant return. Like
What?
enter. No. So don't use return.
Don't use return. Return. So what return does is exactly what it sounds like. It returns your variable.
Okay.
So in this case, what is it returning?
Those sentences.
Which
and
is what?
words.
Say it for me.
Dog big ran quickly.
Good.
Dog big ran quickly. Don't you want big dog ran quickly?
Oh, it wanted us to actually put words in here. Dog. This isn't a great example. I'm just putting words in here. Of test 1 and test 2 is not defined. Oh, okay. So they want and because it's a function, we can rerun these things as many times as we want. So this is going to run it one time, and then this is going to run it another time with new parameters.
Mm-hmm.
Test 1 and test 2 is not defined. Alright, so I'm going to reset this because I think the beta's fucking up right now. There we go. Cool. So we're on to arrays. This is exciting. Arrays are a big deal.
I actually think that I know a little bit about arrays. But I may be wrong.
Alright, so arrays are lists. They store... So far, we've only been dealing with things that store one thing, right?
Really?
Yeah. So even though we're adding those variables together, concatenating it, at the end, the result is just one long string.
So you're maybe talking like a paragraph now?
Yeah. Like you... So, well, no. In terms of the arrays or in terms of the string?
In terms of what you just said,
So when we add the numbers, it's add 4 plus 5 plus 3 plus 2.
and you get one answer back.
You get one answer
or you
back.
get one sentence back.
You get one number in that case.
Or one sentence.
One sentence. It's not like you have a bunch of values.
Right,
You don't.
or a bunch of sentences.
Now, an array will store a bunch of values. So, like right here, if this was a string, it would be John 23. However, in this case, it's John. John's its own value on the 0 index,
23.
and 23 is its own value on the 1 index.
Okay.
Yeah, and that, as Bitcode says, variable holds one value, arrays hold a bunch.
So you can put a variable with an array.
An array is a variable. An array can be a variable.
Okay.
You're not taking notes, by the way.
No, because we go too fast. I don't want to write something that I'm going to misunderstand, so I like to go back over it. Ouch.
Well, if you misunderstand it, we can slow down. How can I help?
You're just gonna be here watching me write shit down.
That's fine.
No, because I just do it when I go over by myself, and then if I need a clarification, I'll ask you.
Okay. I want to kill you.
Not before I kill you.
Alright, alright, so we've talked about arrays. And
Kill spot.
so one thing in arrays, as you notice, we can actually have different types of values in there as well. We have a string and we have a number.
We can have like symbols and all of that.
Booleans, objects. We can even have another array in there, which is a.
Of course we can. How can you have another array in there? How can you have another array in there? Like another separate list?
Yeah. So like, I'll give you an example. So say we want it. So, what index is this?
A string.
No, what index?
I don't know. What is an index?
The spot in the list, the spot in the array. Remember, it starts
0.
at 0. So what index is 23?
23 is considered a whole number of
What?
itself?
Yeah, 23 has its own spot. What is
1.
1. All right, and what is this new array?
0, 1.
No. What index is this new array?
2.
Good. Now, how do you think we would get this value right here?
2.0. 0.2.
Close. You have the right idea. And then this one, it represents a 1 index of that. And this one represents a 2 index of that. So let's say we wanted to get that 1. And we would, we'll just comment like this. We would say R, we'd store it in a variable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or we'd use it. And we say R array, what was the first index? That from this? This index, to get the whole thing. What
2.
2. So if we just wanted to return that array, we could get it like that.
Okay.
Now, if we wanted to get, and this is referred to as a 2-dimensional array. And so you can get into as many array depths as you want. And so at work, I've gone down as deep as 10.
What do you need 10 for?
Because you return, a lot of times what you'll get back is what's called a JSON, which stands for JavaScript Object Notation, which is a long document of data.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And so it's stuff that comes from a database and then has various things, and it gets more and more complicated as you go down farther.
Sounds fun.
So in this case, we have it's a very complex thing when you're just getting started. But here, if we just wanted, now we're on the 2 index, which gives us this whole thing. Now, what would we put in to get that final 2?
2.2.
There's no 2.2. It's just, remember, it's just like 2. So this goes for the first index, which is this whole thing. That's 2. That leads us here.
Oh, you put another 2 in there.
Exactly,
Okay.
and you just treat it like it's another
2,
array,
2.
which it is.
So when you were going to call, like, the 10th one, you would have to be, like...
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we're going pretty quick. Ice cream truck time, you guys heard that?
Yeah, we were both like, what the fuck is that sound? That guy comes around, like, all the time. Not have we once bought ice cream from him.
I should. I got a fucked up finger. I deserve ice cream.
Yeah.
All right.
Until you see the van and it's a little sketcy, you're like, I like my life.
All right. So the first item in my array should be a string. So we'll put my name, which is Dylan. And then the second item should be a number. This is all we're learning here is, I'm going to put my age. Oops. All we're learning here is that you can have multiple things in an array.
29. Woo!
This is exactly what we were talking about a second ago, that we can nest one array into another.
Look at that. We're ahead of the curve.
Yes. So we'll do the same thing. I'll just do 0, 0. Something simple.
You gotta do it. I thought it was side by side. Oh.
What do you mean side by side?
I thought the other one you did was side by side.
Ooh, I don't understand.
I thought you put brackets around this one and then a second bracket here.
There is.
No. Be a bracket there and then a space and then a second set of brackets.
We have a second set right here.
Ow!
See, and look, you can see how it kind of lines up.
Yeah, I get it, but I thought the last one looked like this.
No.
Okay.
You imagine that. you like me saying that? All right. So we've talked about accessing array data with indexes. Now remember how we were saying that you couldn't change a string via the index?
You're accessing arrays that have indexes.
By their index. That's what we've been doing when I said how do we trace from this one to that one?
Right, that's an index.
Yeah. So 0 index, 1 index, 2 index.
Okay, that's
so
not what you said.
where these are located in the array is their index spot.
Okay.
So this is a 0 index. This is the
It doesn't end apparently.
and then we have the second index. So when we call our array 0 right here, we're getting 50, right?
We're gonna get 50.
Yes, on the 0 index.
Is that / equals 50 a printout?
No, that's a comment. Remember the comments?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, this is just to let you know, because otherwise, if you didn't have such an excellent tutor here telling you about this, you may be confused. But since you get it, good job on me. So you don't need those comments. No, all right. So, my data should equal the first value of my array. All right. So we're gonna create a variable here called my data, and we want it to be the first value of my array. So what are we setting my data equal to? My array, and then using the bracket notation, right? What is the array value? Do you get the first value of my array?
1.
The first
Yeah,
value.
but if you're saying first, you want number 1, not 0.
No. Because the 0
It would be 0.
Yeah, the 0 index is the first value. Now, if I said I wanted the second value, if I wanted the second index, the 2 index.
Giving you shit.
God, my finger hurts. All right. So, remember how we couldn't actually change the character of a string using bracket notation?
You lied to me? We can change it.
In arrays, we can. So you can't do it in strings, but you can do it in arrays.
Dirty bastard.
So here.
Why would you tell me that and then take it back?
No, so what I said was for strings. I'm not taking it back. It's still true for strings, but it's different for arrays.
Why?
Because of the way that it's too complicated of an answer to give you the truth. So if we wanted to reset the value of just one part of the array, we could do that by targeting the index. So in our array here, in this example, remember 0 index, 1 index, 2 index. So our array 1 index is 64. We're actually setting this to 45. So now our array equals 18, 45, 99.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so
so the printout would be 18, 45, 99.
Yes. That's the new value of our array.
Look at that.
All right, so if we wanted my array to equal 45, 64, 99, how do we change that?
We're changing 99?
No, 64 and 99 are correct. We're changing 18. So how would we go about changing?
So 45?
Yes.
It would be 0.
Good. So we would say my array bracket 0 is equal to 45, right? Is that right?
Yeah, wait, okay.
You
but
sure?
I thought the our array thing up there, excuse me, I thought that was changing it.
This changes our array. We're talking about my array.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
All right. So we talked about this briefly. And we talked about having multiple arrays. So this is a two-dimensional array. This is also a two-dimensional array because it's an array within an array. Another two-dimensional array. And now a three-dimensional array right here because it's an array within an array.
Within an array.
Within an array. Good.
And we would call that an array. 0, 1, 2, 3.
I would be very impressed if
Hold on. I can get this.
So what are you trying to get? If you can get, I would be very impressed if you can get that number 12 on your first try. So you have my data right there. What are you doing to get that number 12?
Let me think about this. God, I had it, and then you kept talking. Okay. So an array is not 0. 0. 3. Should be 3. Oops. 2. Something like that. Right? That? Or there's another bracket thingy on the end?
So you're saying like this. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. No, on the end. It's part of that. It's part of that 3.
So you have a 4-dimensional array here in something that we said was a 3-dimensional array.
No. That.
No.
Damn it!
It's a good try though.
Wait. It's not a good try. I want to be right.
So you were right in that you needed more brackets. But remember we had a 3-dimensional array. So we only needed 3 sets of brackets.
2.
So why don't we start there?
Okay, what is this 0 right here?
Other-
That's this one? This one? That one?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be correct.
And then this one is this one?
Yep. Well, not that, but you have to. That's what you're trying to get. It's not 0 though.
It's not.
Yeah. So
So
remember.
the second 0 would be this one.
Yes.
Why are you calling this one when you want this one?
I'm not. That's what the answer was. I was expecting you to change those values. Did that confuse you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop.
All right.
I was right.
No. All right, so now that we're all right, so this is right. So this is all the first array zero
that's
index.
0.
So if we want to get to here, that's the next one. What is it? Now follow the commas, right?
4.
0, 1, 2,
It's 3.
3. Good. And then what is this? To get 12.
2.
Good. So that would be how we would get 12.
You made it sound like I was so fucking far away. I was very close.
Baby. In software, close
doesn't cut it. I get
doesn't
that.
cut it.
But as in, I was missing. Oh,
It's all about. It's
Whatever.
all. You did good though, baby.
God. Shut up.
All right. So how do we get 8?
0. 2.
Oh shit! I think you were right, and I'm wrong. I think I just fucked that up. Which is easier? Yeah, you were right. So to get
I was
there.
like, that doesn't make any sense.
There's a dark screen on. Yeah, I fucked up. My bad. So. Yeah,
Because that's why I was asking, because the last one that we called, when you're calling within with...
I'm tired. My bad, baby. So, alright, so...
You're tired. That's the big excuse.
So here, like, to get this one, to get this one, it'd be 0 index. Then to get this whole thing, it would be 0 again.
Yeah.
And then to get the one, it'd be 3. So you're right. Good job. I was wrong. So the actual correct answer to get this number, guys, is 0... 3, 0, 2. That's how we would get 12. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry, Achilles. It's like, yo, man, I want to go outside. What's going on here? All right. So to get 8, how do we get to 8? Yeah, the dark theme is only in the beta, guys.
0. Oh. Hello.
Hey, big boy. It's too hot for you.
So it doesn't feel hot. 0 for this whole thing. Okay.
Mhm.
And then 0 for this one. We're trying to get what number?
8.
So we don't need that one. We need...
Well, we do need it eventually. No, we don't need 0.
No, I know that.
Okay.
Shh. So this is 2. Oh, shit.
You know what number it is, right? You can just say it. 2, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. It's 1.
No.
You cheater.
Shut up.
It's a trick question. All right.
Bitcode. It's taking me a second to process this.
So 0, 2, 1. Both wrong. Am I going crazy?
Wait, okay, let's see. 0.
0, 1, 2.
0, 1.
0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 1. That should
We're
be.
missing a 0.
We're not.
It's not working?
Am I going insane right now?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
0. This whole array. So, Kevin, you're saying 2-1. Am I just becoming bad? Oh, shit. I'm becoming bad, baby. I forgot we don't count this one.
Why not?
Because it's an array of objects. So I was right the first time, and I got all fucking confused. You're right, Chris. Because you don't count that. Because it's just an array. It's not the 0 index.
Oh, okay.
God damn it.
You're in the Matrix, yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't woken up.
Any more vape? Alright, we'll leave it on there. And then we'll wrap up right now. So we're about 50 minutes in. You got to see a full salary developer fuck up on an array index. Enjoy that.
Savor the moment.
Yeah. Someone's going to send this to my boss and be like, hey, here you guys are hiring. No.
Me? It'll be me.
Yeah, I bet he's going to put me out of a job.
You're like, bitch, I got a job now. I heard you lost yours.
Oh, man. What a long day. All right, baby. So, we had a little bit of fun there. You got to see me struggle. Even I, get my brain twisted for a minute here or there.
Yeah, I know. I see your brain twist all the time.
So,
oh shit, that could not have been a better response.
But I think it's an important note, guys. Is that sometimes you're tired, you make mistakes, but even if you're not tired, you make mistakes.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, if you're looking at a shit ton of code, I can only imagine. Like, I missed a syntax error the other day. Like, come on. I know that's gonna be me though. That's why I really want to get good at debugging, is because I know that is like my weakest.
You may, because that's one of the highest hiring rates for entry level jobs is QA engineering. But yeah, so you got to see me struggle a little bit alongside my love here. So what's your game plan for tomorrow? You want to show? You want to show off what you have on your portfolio, or wait till it's time?
Oh my god! Yeah, I'll show.
You just show what you got so far. You guys get a sneak peek about what she's working on in the background.
Okay, so
I believe you've set up your menu, right?
yeah. So
she got the whiteboard.
I'm trying to start out pretty simple. So this is my menu, and then this is kind of like my links to all my other accounts that I'm going to put up here. Ignore that. That's just something I was doing. And then this is kind of like the color scheme I'm trying to stick to. So there's that.
All right, let's show them what you have so far, which I think is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I thought you were going to tell me that it was terrible or something.
You show it to the webcam. So, can you guys see that's her menu off to the side so far that she has?
So that's it.
That's good, babe.
It's cute. The hardest thing I was having with this portfolio page is that I could not decide on what it to look like. I've looked at the example, and this is the example. I know it's clean. I just hate it.
It's not actually. That example is very dumbed down compared to what it used to be.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I hated it. I saw it and I was like, this is stupid. Who would make this? So I was going through a bunch of portfolio pages actually that some people have like rated and stuff like that, and I was going through them, and I think I mentioned this yesterday, but I don't know, so much of it was just like blah. And people were like raving about it, like, oh, I love it because blah, blah, blah. But it's like, now I'm looking at mine and I'm like, I feel the same way. So maybe it's just like all in my head. But I don't know. I don't like any of them, to be honest. I can't decide on a portfolio page. I'm just like waiting for that like spritz of inspiration, and it's just not coming to me. So.
Oh, well, that's why you design your own. And in terms of pseudocode, we haven't really gotten pseudocode yet. I think once we get to the algorithms, that's when we'll start talking about pseudocode. And once she's worked through, she's kind of already doing it. Like, I mean, it's not really pseudocode type, drawing out your picture, but getting comfortable using whiteboards and drawing out and visualizing it, is kind of how I would suggest for her to do pseudocode. Draw it out, visualize it, think about it, and look at it. And that's really what the benefit of pseudocode is for you. And when you're just getting started, right? So when we get to the basic algorithms, that little whiteboard is going to be replaced by my 6-foot whiteboard over there, and she's just going to be staring blank-eyed at it. And it's going to be an interesting experience for her, because I'm not going to help at all. So I
never do.
Because you have to really struggle through those things to learn them.
I'm not gonna struggle. I'm just gonna fucking fly through that. He's gonna feel like a dumb shit. He's just like.
Is that how it's gonna be?
Yeah. And you're gonna have a unibrow at that point.
Why am I gonna have a unibrow?
Because I'm not gonna pluck them anymore.
Is that it? Just put me on blast like that?
Hey, I'm looking at dribble.com. These are actually really cool. I like some of these.
Thank you again to Bitcode, who's consistently donated like $5 for each stream, which is dope because at 100 streams, if that continues on, I'll actually have enough for a 4K monitor and a 4K webcam. $5 at a piece. So I appreciate that. If you guys haven't already, make sure to join the Facebook group Code Tech and Caffeine. The link is in the description. We're over 1,200 strong now and growing by like 30 a day. I think I'm growing almost as fast on... Is that your, like, we're doing good dance? We're going pretty good. And hopefully we can keep growing the channel and the group. And if you want to support me, you can. Don't you need a 4K video card? I have a 4K video card. I have a GTX 1080 Ti.
Yeah.
So, I got a big boy's video card.
Turns out size really does matter.
Doesn't graphics cards, that's for sure.
That thing weighed 5 pounds.
Yeah, this thing's heavy. But yeah, guys. So,
Jordan, what did I miss? Everything.
Missed. Do you actually find pseudocode helpful? Sometimes I sketch out real code segments on paper and stuff for complicated problems. Never tried to use pseudocode really. I think this is the thing. I think pseudocode, like your notes, if it's for you, you can do it in whatever fashion you want. I kind of write words out and arrows and pointers, and I mix in actual code. But at the end of the day, it represents code, and I know what I'm looking at. So, Compendium, I would say, if you're working alone, a lot of us when we're learning, we are, and a lot of times, even if you're not, people can follow your code, especially if you're at the same level, or your pseudocode. So, for me, I rarely write pseudocode unless I'm solving an algorithm. So I think just write whatever works for you. That's my advice. Well, don't worry, Jordan. It's all gonna be up, man. All these live streams are up every time. But as always, guys, Facebook group, as I mentioned, support me on patreon.com/codingtutorials360 if you want to support me there. Another great way for us to upgrade the channel to 4K. And, I want to actually get some lights in here. The lighting's actually pretty bad.
Oh, it's terrible, yeah.
Half my face is dark, half my face is... Well, it's all pretty pale, but half of it, half of it's paler than the other, right? When we move into and I have
Shade.
Yeah, when for those of you who don't know, we're actually moving in about 5 weeks, 4 weeks, and in 4 weeks we'll be moving, and I'll have my office all to myself again, so I can set up my green screen and some lights and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to do that. So.
Yeah, I'll be packing the house and moving it.
The move's in 4 weeks, man. I'm hoping this is no longer here. Or else I'm going to have to hire some guys to move. Yeah, it's going to suck. Oh, Compendium, that was yours? I read the first paragraph of it. I wasn't able to finish it because I was at work. I just scanned it. I approved it, and I scanned the first paragraph, so this is dope. I'm going to go back and read the rest of it. I'm glad that you did that, though, man. I appreciate you doing that. Stuff like that I always really like. I like hearing about people's interests and like, what happens in real life, right? Real life example. So, how's the finger? It's fucked up, man. They cut shit out. This is never good. I don't know. I go in Tuesday and they're gonna make sure everything's okay. It's probably all right. I just don't know. Like, it doesn't hurt. It just feels numb, and it feels like, you know what it feels like? It feels like, you ever been stuck in a car for 12 hours and you finally get out and shit's just kind of like, ooh. That's what it feels like. Like, it hasn't moved in 12 fucking days. One time I interviewed a guy and he hung up after I asked the first question.
Me. Just be like, I don't know that. Click.
So here's a funny story. I'll end on a funny story. My good friend Van, who's done my logo, and I'm actually going to probably be working with him on starting a developer store and, sell stickers and mouse pads and things like that. And he'll design a lot of it. And but yeah, so he was hiring for his graphic design shop he works at. And the guy had a great portfolio. He had a great resume. He talked all the right things. He had some good talking points, and they hired the guy. And so, like, 2-3 days in, he's not really doing what they expect him to do. But, it's your first week. They're no big deal. So the guy goes, he's on his third day, and he goes, hey, I'm going to go grab lunch. All right, cool, no big deal. Drives off in his car. And then my buddy Van gets a text message that says, hey, graphic design is hard. By the way, I'm not coming back. And so Van thinks that all his job references were fake. All his oh, hey, Dennis, thank you, man. Dennis donated $10, baby.
Wow.
Thank you, sir.
You.
That's going to go a long way.
Thanks for doing what you do, man.
You heard it there, baby.
Aw, they love you. You're
It's-
so cute.
Because I give him a zombie. I should make that more coding related. But yeah, so the guy just bounced after 2 days, and like apparently his portfolio was all fucked up and fake, and his references were probably just lies, and I think he photoshopped one time, was like, yo man, I can just wing this shit. But that's my graphic design story about the guy who jumped out 3 days in. So again, I want to thank, you know what? I wouldn't feel right having Dennis White's super chat up still. So we're gonna keep going while there's a donation up, because it's not right. Part of the cool things about super chats are that it will actually showcase your donation message in the chat. See, baby? So
Yeah.
that, like, his will be to the top. Even if more messages come, you can always see if you click on his thing what he donated. So we'll go, since Dennis donated $10, we'll continue kicking it for a minute. I wouldn't feel right not doing it, giving you the full advantage of a super chat. And it's not because I'm selling out, honestly. It might be a little bit because I'm selling out, but I do appreciate it, man. So thank you for that.
He's a money whore. He said I could buy his hand in marriage.
I did. She was talking about she won a house and $100,000. I said, yeah, I'd marry you at that point.
And I told him I'd say no.
All right, so you guys are talking about how coding interviews are getting harder, right? So here's a story from college. I was in it was basically like CS 202, which is at my school or my old school. It was your second CS course. So you took one Java course and now you're in the intermediate Java course basically. And in that class, the teacher caught, like, I showed up and like 2/3 of the class wasn't there. I was like, look, man, we're like 3 weeks in. People usually don't start dropping until like the midterm, right? And so what happened was, apparently 2/3 of the class was copying assignments. And like, I don't know, maybe not everybody in here is a CS major, but typically when you hand in your assignments, you're usually just sending files in somewhere. But a lot of times what you do at the top of it, you'll do a comment slash and you'll put your name and sometimes the date and maybe the assignment name, right? And so these stupid motherfuckers forgot to change the name that was commented out. And so 2/3 of the class failed instantly. But so that's why, by the way, guys, that's why those coding interviews are getting harder, because there's people like that floating around that probably still graduated, by the way. They just failed them. Because they're not going to kick them out of school. They're going to fail them from the class, and then they're going to let them repay for it next time and come back. So, and it's a common thing, by the way, guys. It's completely common. Like, I didn't really, I was a little bit older. I didn't really know anybody. I had 2 friends who I studied with, and we helped each other out. But we never copied code. Not like that. Not like, every once in a while, like, yo, man, let me just see this shit. I gotta see it in action to understand it, right? And that's understandable. You have those rough times. But straight up, yo, man, I didn't even change by your name. Let's all hand it in. Because at that point, there's no way of denying it, by the way. Like, most of the time, you can write a code a million different ways. Most of the time. There's 15 ways to reverse a string. Now, if 10 people hand in the same way, it's fishy. But when you don't change the name / person's name, come on, man. Come on. You got caught. Your hand got caught in the cookie jar. So that's my little story, man. Bitcode, I appreciate you. Dennis White, I appreciate you as well, man. Thank you for the support. We're $15 towards our first goal of 300. I think we're at 67 now, if I remember correctly. That thing takes a while to update. We're at 72 of 300. That's pretty good. But anyhow, guys, I appreciate you. Thank you for the donations. I appreciate that a lot.
He does. He'll talk about it for the next week or so. I'll be like, we got this donation.
It's good.
He gets really excited about it, and I won't stop hearing about it for maybe the next 2 weeks.
It is, man. Like this is my hobby, and I would love nothing more.
Anyone who calls him or comes into contact with him, he's like, I got a donation! Like Ted, it was $5, but oh my god, we're this close to blah. And it's just I'm so happy for you.
This is the thing. I put a lot of time into YouTube because one day I would love for it to work out. Do I think it will? Probably not. I'm in a very niche area, and I got to get creative. But it's if you look at it objectively, even though it's going back into the channel, we made $15 this hour. I got to tutor my girlfriend for $15 an hour, and I got to hopefully help some people in the process. And I'll probably make $2 in ad revenue off of this. But I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, and it's cool. It's cool. It's a cool thing, right? I would love nothing more than do this every day. You see a microphone in the background? Yeah, that's an old one.
Oh, I use it.
April uses it on occasion. But anyhow, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and Patreon, Facebook group, all that good stuff. See you next time.
Code long and prosper.
Code long and prosper, guys. Code long and prosper.